I want you to get together.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Come on in. Sit on down. It's time for another live Q and A. Yes, it's Wednesday evening. I'm finally on time. I'm back on schedule for as long as it lasts. We'll see. Hey, we will see. But I'm here, and you guys have me maybe for a couple of hours because I do have a podcast to jump on after this show. That's 11 p.m. UK time. I think that is 6 p.m. Eastern. And I think what they called 6G conspiracy or something. I'm not sure, but I'm sure it'll be a good conversation. So yeah, that's where I'm going to be after this. But you've got me for a little bit, and I don't really have a plan for today. This is just going to be a off the cuff. You ask the questions, you bring up the topics, I share my thoughts and feelings along the way because that seems to be what I do best on this channel. But while I'm waiting for people to come in, we'll just stop off at Shilltown quickly, and we'll sell some of my own stuff, my own products. If you guys are interested in a signed copy of the Nephilim It Looks Like Clowns, I have some just laying around here in a box in front of me. A few have shifted here and there, but I do have some hardcovers left if anyone's interested. Email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com and you can get yourself a signed copy sent straight from this desk right here by yours truly. So it's a good way to support me. It's direct, it's straight from the source, so no cuts get taken anywhere by Amazon. But if you do just want to get yourself a normal copy straight from Amazon, you can do that just by looking for this image right here. You cannot miss it. And get yourself an audiobook if you want instead as well. If you can't read, and then no one has to know. You can put some headphones in, pretend you're reading the book, and everybody will none the wiser. You're none the wiser. So I'm helping you guys out there. Yeah, so there you go. That's a good way to support me, guys. Or maybe consider becoming a patron. You know, patron is one of those things where it's underutilized by me. I don't promote it enough, but it is actually one of the most efficient ways to support me, where you actually get something in return more so than just one book. There's lots of extra content on there, lots of extra things that can only go on Patreon. I did just do a video on there recently about the next possible pandemic, or at least talking around the idea of how they would sell this to us and what they're doing, testing the waters here and there for the next possible one. And yeah, I say some things on there which I know if they don't get me banned immediately, they could get me banned in a year or two's time when suddenly what I said in that video is no longer allowed to be said. That tends to be how YouTube works. So that one's only on Patreon, and I think I'll be doing a lot more of them in the future too. And I did just release a behind the scenes first rough draft of the new front cover for the next installment of the Nephilim Looked Like Clowns. So if you're interested in some behind the scenes stuff, you know, things that are going on with that with side projects, you can find all that on there as well, some sneak peek stuff. And also I will start dropping some from the book, some pages from the book soon too that I'm currently writing, so you can get some glimpses of what's to come when that gets published too. So please consider becoming a patron. Links are down below. and that is another way to support me because they only get 5% of whatever you donate, which is actually quite a low cut. It's probably the lowest you'll find anywhere. I think even PayPal probably take more than that if you donate to me because I'm in the UK. So yeah, Patreon is probably a good one, guys. And of course, it's always good to have a safety net if YouTube decides to just pull the rug from underneath me randomly one day because no longer am I savvy enough to be on here. Like maybe what's allowed today may not be allowed tomorrow, you know, which is why I'm not one of those channels that's falling into the mass noticing that's suddenly been going on over the past 6 months, if you know what I mean. I feel like it's a bit of a trap. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen with all whoever's doing it and talking loudest about all that stuff right now is going onto a list. I can tell you that much. So yeah, I play it careful, but when it comes to Patreon, I can just say what I want to do, what I want on there. So go check that out if you are interested. But I think people are rolling in now. That's enough. We can leave Shilltown. To quote Connor, one of my moderators and obviously a fellow YouTuber. He visits there often, and I like to stop every now and then too. So there we go. We can leave that. Why? Let's ask the real question. Why is your hair the wrong way today? It just wasn't resting right on the other side because it's greasy and I need to get it washed and it's too long. And I just swept it the other way by chance, and I think it just sat okay. Relatively okay, so I just froze it in place with some hairspray to probably start the show because I'm sick of it falling into my eyes. As you can see, I'm due a haircut. I've shaved in preparation for it. I'll probably try and get that squeezed in at some point this week, not tomorrow because it's family day, but maybe at some point, maybe on Friday, so then I can I can rest easy for another 4 to 5 months before I have to get another haircut. I can neither confirm nor deny. What's this? Has he been replaced? No, I've not been replaced. I'm still me. Still stuck with the same old Paul. So who we got? We got Wendy. We've got the whole crew's here. The whole band's together. That's great to see. We've got Wendy. We've got my wife in the chat. We've got MK Ryan's in the house. He's finally turned up for a shift for once. We've got Pepe Sylvia, Shauna Rain. We've got Mark here as well. It's good to see all the regular faces. It's great to see you all. I noticed the hair too. Maybe I'm going to start parting on different sides just to freak people out from now on. It's going to be a new thing I do. And I think did MK Ryan come with a new tagline for the show? I might starting the show with "This is a Paul for an uprising. Welcome to the show," and then I'm just going to get angry about whatever's going on in the news. That's what we're doing from now on. That's going to be the new format. Okay. He's def a clone. Yep, that's it. I've been replaced. And that's what this spot is here. It's not that I squeezed a blackhead too hard and got a bit overzealous with it. Nope, it's a sign. It's a sign that I have been replaced. It's a new freckle. It's something that should okay. I really shouldn't say stuff like that because people will clip it and roll with it and go wild. I'll tell you one thing I've noticed as well. Now I've figured out how to get 4K high definition live on this camera. I am really noticing how crooked my bottom teeth are because it is in high definition. You can see this one that's like behind the rest. In the past, when it was low definition, people used to look at this from the front and see the jagged nature of it because it's they're all kind of laid on top of each other, and they would say, "See, he's got fangs like a reptilian, like he's a lizard person because his teeth are all like sharp. It's coming through the holographic projections failing, and we're seeing what his teeth really look like, and he's got like fangs like a demon." It's like, no, if you get in high def, it's because I've got crooked teeth because I'm from Britain and we have a terrible dental system. I'm thinking of getting Invisalign. I'm thinking of getting something to straighten them out now I'm older. I missed my chance for braces as an awkward teen. I should have got them then. But yeah, so that's another thing high def is revealing. I can't hide anything anymore. No blemishes. Not time to ask cues yet. I'm new here. No, Boonky Time 0001. You can ask questions at any point. I'm here. You've got me for 2 hours. I'm waiting for questions to roll in. I'm just rambling and going on and keeping the flow going while questions roll in. I would recommend, though, just put @uconspiracy in front of your thing, and then I should be able to see the question a lot more. What I'll do first, I'll just sign in on OBS to the chat, so it's recognizes me as actually there, because I know it can get a bit annoying But for some reason, OBS is continuously logging me out now with every time I shut it down. So I have to go through this annoying process of logging back in every single time. And it's a 2-step process. So I've got to enter a password, click yes on my phone, and it just gets really annoying. But I'm going to do that now. So if you do have a question, make sure to @ me, @uconspiracy, and then I will actually see the question highlighted better, and I will be able to actually see the question, because it does tend to get away from me when I'm not, well, in between talking, you know, things just disappear. So there we go, I am logged in, so I should be able to see that if you guys do at uconspiracy me at any moment with a question. But what has been going in the news? What's caught your attention? What's the hot thing right now that everyone's a buzz about? What's the conspiratorial takes on all of this? Because I know it's a bit of the world's going a little bit mad. We're having it's crazy season after the new year. There's like always something that happens in the beginning of the year to just ruin everything and set the mood for the rest of the year. It seems like ICE is the hot topic, and riots and shootings. A lot of people banding around and throwing around that maybe this is not all that it seems, as usual. And I know many people have many takes on that. But when it comes to this type of stuff, I'm always a bit of a sit back, wait and see type of guy. This could be a here today, gone tomorrow, soon to be memory hold situation. It could be a very handy distraction for that pesky Epstein list. Who really knows what's going on here? So I'm, like I said, I'm much more of a sit back and watch type of person. And I think when emotions and tensions are running so high, now is not the time to make any commentary that could blow people up mentally, you know. Okay, so I got some questions coming in. I got some ats. Let's see what we've got going on here. That's a good question. I missed it. I missed when people are doing this, but oh, I see. Hey, Paul, curious as to why you don't speak much about the North, or where the camp of the saints may be, if it's a physical place. Curious to hear your thoughts. Okay, what do you want to know? Do you want to know my thoughts on it, or do you want to know why I don't talk about it, kind of framing it like I'm hiding something from you, you know? Well, because the last time people started asking me that type of question, they very quickly started making a hate group about me and bitching about me behind my back and accusing me of all sorts of horrible things. I don't trust the Let's Go North cult every time it arrives, and it does arrive every decade or so on the internet. There have been plenty of people who have said, let's go to the North, let's obsess over the North, something special's in the North. And I feel like the little season has definitely gone that way again. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I do not trust it. I do not trust it at all, and that's going to ruffle some feathers saying that. I don't talk about it on my channel because I don't know what's up there. I can speculate the ends of the earth, no pun intended, but I don't know. I have no idea, okay? Whether Jesus Christ is in the North or not, to me, doesn't make much of a difference because I certainly cannot go there, okay? And I don't think I'm in any state to be allowed in right now either. I'm going to be honest, I really don't think that's the case. I think there's a reason why we're not supposed to know it's there, or that we're not there right now. And only after the new heaven and earth and the final Gog-Magog war will the gates be opened again, I think, if that is the case. But then who the hell knows that, and how are we supposed to actually know that, you know? And to be honest, I think it's turned into a cult, and you need to be very careful. You need to be extremely careful. And I made it clear a long time ago that I don't talk about the Little Season anymore. So that's why I don't talk about the North, because I'm not a Little Season channel. I'm a conspiracy channel, and I have my own thing, and I have done plenty of work on the Little Season theory already. I understand it, and I've moved on a little bit. I've incorporated it. I've carried on. It's not my entire shtick, so I don't rely on it or need to pump out constant videos on that one topic to stay relevant, because that's just not who I am, and that's not who I've ever been. So that's why I don't talk about it all the time. It's not some weird conspiracy, and my opinion on it is that, well, it doesn't really matter, and I think the people who are obsessing over it have got weird, and that's just not my scene. So there you go, that's that covered. And yes, these people do crop up every now and then asking me that question, and there you go, I've confronted it. Anyway, let's look at the ads. What else have we got? We've got... Have you listened to Myron Fagan's third record yet? No. I have no idea who that is or what you're talking about. That has gone way over my head. Do you recommend any translations, versions of the Book of Enoch? I think you can't really go wrong with it with many of them, to be honest. I can't remember the names now, but the one I used in my book, let me just check my references here. It was really well written, and I use it as the main reference. Like Dr. J. Winter's version, the Complete Book of Enoch, standard English versions by Winter Publications. So check out Dr. J. Winter's 2015 translation because he has all the books in there, and he also does show you all the fragments as well and what they say and how we can piece them together. The Book of Giants is in there, the Book of Noah is in there. Quite a lot. It's all compiled. So I'd just recommend Dr. J. Winters right now because it's easily accessible online for free and it's a good version. It's clear, it's concise, and his thoughts at the start are very telling as well. He really does care about the translation and what it means for Christendom and what it means for Christianity as well. He was a really, really, you can tell he was passionate about what he was doing. So I'd recommend that one for now because it's just the one I've used. But there is an older one. There's a doctor. I've used that one in the book as well. And for I can tell, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Weird question. Do you think demons have claws? I asked because when I was young and dumb, I was scratched during a bad Ouija board experience. It does seem that demons scratch reptilian. Well, I think if you want to talk about the Nephilim, which are demons, then yes, they may have had claws. I don't see why that would be on the realm of possibilities. Some reptiles have claws, and so would the Nephilim, which were half dragon, angel, seraphim, and human. From my research, it's possible some of them were also kind of like half avian, bird-like creatures, or some weird amalgamed hybrid insectoid creature mixed with humans as well, which created all the colourful, weird effects. But I think the majority were serpentine in nature, sons of dragons, And yeah, dragons have claws, but in terms of like them scratching you physically now, well, they don't have a physical body to scratch you. And so I'm not sure why you got scratched in a physical sense. Who knows what happened there? And I wouldn't really hazard a guess. Can a disembodied demon manifest into the physical enough to cause a physical scar on your body? I don't know. I know movies would like to tell you that's the case, and you're telling me that's the case. So maybe, but it's not something I've heard happen often, to be honest. But if the Nephilim were around today, the OG original ones before the flood, then highly likely they probably did have claws, yes. And if you look at the models of demons that are still on some temples, like the Rakshasas of India, let's say, I can bring that up now. India temples. I certainly do think they have claws looking at them. So let's just have a quick look here, what we can find. I'll share the screen with you guys while I'm at it. Here we go. So this is what I can see. Look at this handsome fella. This one here is a good example of what a Nephilim would have looked like. Probably has claws, but I mean, with fangs like that, why wouldn't you have claws to match, eh? Look at this one. He likely has claws or big fingers anyway. I don't know. There we go. But these are a very good example of them. I mean, if we look at old depictions of the Gorgon, which is basically just the same creature. Gorgon of Greece. I mean, she's depicted like this in the modern age, but that has claws. But realistically, she looks more like this, without snakes for her, more like a clown, a quintessential clown. White skin, big wide red smile, bucked fangs, exaggerated features. And I don't know if there's any images of her with a body. This is probably the closest we get. Here's another example. So I don't know. I mean, I would think serpent human hybrid would have claws. Like I would think so. So yeah, but I guess that's it. I mean, this is Medusa. Look at that smile, lovely. But this is what the Nephilim would have looked like: half angel, half serpent, human hybrids with big wide smiles, possibly claws. I would hazard. I would think it was a safe assumption. That's probably a good way of describing it. A very safe assumption that they would have claws. Look at this thing. Absolutely terrifying. You would not even. What would you even do if you saw something like this? I have no idea. Scary, scary stuff. So let's switch that back. Let's go see what's going on here. Have you ever communicated with Sean Griffin from Kingdom of Context? A live between you two would surely be interesting. No, Kathy, I don't really know the guy. I'm not sure who you're talking about. I have the feeling I've heard the name banded around that he is somebody who's like anti Little Caesar or something like that. And I'm guessing you're asking me to debate him. That's what that's a setup for in some way. I'm not your guy. I'm not going to do that. Ooh, this video def just got banned. What did I get banned for? What did I do? All I can say is be careful what you wish for. Protesters had their hand blown off because they grabbed a flashbang grenade. Well, that wasn't clever, was it? Best keep your hands off grenades unless you're the one throwing it, I suppose. But even then, know what you're doing first, I guess. Don't tempt me, bro. What I do? What I miss? Please proceed. Oh, I see. I see. Why is Trump obsessed with Greenland? Well, it's because that's where the Camp of Saints is. He's trying to get closer to the Camp of Saints, right in the north. That's the only answer. Also, it could have something to do with resources, getting the borders closer to Russia, securing trade routes through the north as well. There's probably many advantages to owning that place. And if our theorizing on the north has been correct, then there's something up there, isn't there? Certainly something up there. I don't know what, and maybe he wants to get close to that too, for whatever reason. Does your book go into the character and or entity known as Bob Dobalina? I haven't got to that part in the book yet. There is a more modern, what would you call it? Like mainstream fun films, music, that type of stuff section of the book that gets into fashion, art, the music industry, movies as well, and references to all of this in movies, and the things like serial killer clowns as well, and coulrophobia, the fear of clowns. All the modern stuff is in the back end of the book, and I have written about serial killers and I've written about coulrophobia. I'm doing about the Multicolored Collective now, kind of rehashing. I had that written out from a video transcript, and I'm kind of making it book worthy right now. And next in line on that section would be films, movies, and music references. And I know Bob Dobalina comes up quite a lot, and I know Conspiracy R Us really went down that tangent. I've never really covered it in my own work, and I'm not 100% sure it's wholly relevant to what I do and what I'm trying to say. Some things may not make the cut for the book or may get a passing reference just because the book will be too thick otherwise, and I have to keep it concise and to the point to try and sell it. But yeah, the whole Bob Dobbs thing that the Conspiracy Hours came up with was a very interesting tangent to my body of work, but I think it's not my work, so I wouldn't want to feel confident putting it in the book exactly, because it's not my line of research. All credit to him. Maybe check his videos out to see where he went with that. But there's definitely something to do with the cult of the subgenus as well, and that big smiling face, and the spirit behind it certainly feels irreverent and Nephilim-esque, you know. And maybe it is a reference to Nephilim spirits, Bob Dobalina. I'm not wholly certain, though. I'm not wholly certain. So no, it's not something I cover, and it's something that may get referenced in the book, passingly, but I don't think it's a very important topic of focus when trying to keep a book concise and to the point, you know. So there you go. That's my take on that so far. But I appreciate the work that Conspiracy Hours did on that. That was a really interesting side to it. It was fascinating. It was. Do you think that this is from Flack88 mil? Do you think that the Rapture City from Bioshock could be inspired by real life, where they genetically modify your body frequently? I just finished Bioshock 2. I love the Bioshock series of video games. I played them a lot when I was into that type of thing, and I was a gamer. I don't have a console now or Steam or anything anymore, so I haven't played games in a very long time when it comes to like first-person shooters with those grand, rich, brilliant narratives. But the narrative of that entire series was fantastic. And I think they're referencing a lot of stuff in those games that echo to the truth of the real world. Genetic modification is a big one in that, absolutely. And a lot of biblical references to Adam and Eve, which are the two things you use to give yourself powers, you know. And it's interesting that they say parasitical type slug that they've harnessed on the bottom of the ocean to get this power. And the people who started using it have gone absolutely mad and insane and lost their minds. And the entire civilization under the water that was built, called Rapture, was completely just decayed into chaos as a result of this drug that everyone's discovered that turned them into superpowered humans. It's like absolute power corrupts absolutely, you know, and it's that when you genetically modify yourself, there's nothing but evil in your hearts continuously is kind of the message of that. And that's the message of the Bible. Those who genetically engineered themselves in the book of Jasher with the mixing of kinds, and that Enoch was referencing as well, it's kind of, well, their fate was that they had nothing but evil in their hearts continuously. They went in mad and the whole world was corrupt. And I think Bioshock was referencing that heavily. But when you get to Bioshock Infinite, which I don't, you clearly, and spoilers, I'm sorry, you haven't got there yet, you know, because you're just doing Bioshock 2, which is a continuation of the Rapture under the water, the city under the water theme. But the city in the sky is what's coming next. And if that isn't a reference to the floating city of New Jerusalem, I have no idea what is. But there's lots of stuff in that which goes on many tangents, have nothing to do with biblical references whatsoever. And it just goes along the genetic engineering and time travel and portals and like manipulation of timeline stuff. And it gets really trippy and weird. And as a result, I think even they lose control of the narrative, the writers, at some point. You know, but there's a lot of Antichrist references in there as well. Someone with a mark coming to save everybody. You basically play as the Antichrist throughout the whole series, reference wise. So there's so much in there, absolutely. But it's an over exaggeration of the reality we're living in, and it's a capitalized, commercialized simulacrum of reality, isn't it? Packaged in a game to make money off of us. That's loosely based on the truth, as most fiction is. Most people who are in these industries making these big AAA games that everyone plays are just borrowing from real life biblical narratives and cashing in on them by changing them a little bit here and there. And Bioshock is just the same, but it's still a wild ride when you play that game. It's full of a lot of hints. Honestly, it is. Real question, have you heard of the Chitauri snake men from Zulu mythology? They were like ultra-terrestrials that flew golden pyramids. Ike was inspired by them to create reptilians. Chitauri, I'm going to have a look at that right now. Chitauri. It does ring a bell. It looks like there's been it's a fictional race of extraterrestrial shapeshifters in American comic books published by Marvel. So there is that. If I type in Chitauri Africa, they look like typical reptilians to me. Reptilian human hybrids from the looks of it. Dragon human hybrids. And yes, I think I can see what you're going for here. Basically just the reptilian thing, aren't they? Let me just share the screen with you guys so you can see what I'm saying. So this is what comes up when you have Chitauri Africa. Now, I think the reptilians, if you want to go off the narrative of the Bible, I don't think they are Nephilim. I don't think these are Nephilim creatures. I think these are humans who have genetically engineered themselves and mixed themselves with reptiles. I think that's what this more likely is. Because they don't bear any other traits of the Nephilim, such as being big and tall and having auras about them. And I feel like they lack a lot of other features that the Nephilim had, like pale white skin, red hair, all this type of thing, which seems to be a very common trait of when you mix a human with the dragon. But when you mix a human, that's what happens when somehow a human woman births the child of an angel. You get what I've described as a Nephilim, or what the Rakshasas were that you saw earlier, for example. But when a man modifies his own DNA, you get something more like this. There's a distinction that has to be made there. And this isn't a Nephilim, this is just a mutant. This is a person who's mutated themselves. It's not the same thing. And I think that's where we get the ant people from, and that which are in the Pueblo myths, that brought Mang underground during a cataclysm, and then they came back out, and I taught them stuff. I think these are the genetically engineered peoples of an ancient pre-flood time who have basically been living underground to wait out the flood, and too terrified to come to the surface because the consequence of their existence is punishment and death, by God. So I think they'd rather just avoid people altogether and stay underground, which is why this is like an underground race of reptilians, is what you always hear, or an underground race of ant people over there. I think this is why they stay hidden. And underground is where they tend to dwell most. And I think that's my take on all of this. That seems to be biblically accurate. But yeah, the stuff these guys wear to kind of like depict them in the ancestor spirit worship cultures is usually pretty wild. These terrifying looking masks. But this, I mean, look at that thing. Absolutely mortifying, isn't it? Here's an elongated skull. So who knows though? Maybe it's a bit of this, a bit of that. I mean, maybe we've misinterpreted things we've found and associated them with the wrong things. They're calling this a Chitauri, but this could be a Nephilim skull. You know what I mean? And the Chitauri may not look like this at all. They could be something else. And we're just making connections and assumptions because we've heard one story and I don't really know how else to make sense of it. It's a bit over the top and dramatic, isn't it? Yeah, the Anunnaki stuff mixing in with this as well. I think a lot of people have mixed alien stuff in with it too. But I think because everything was working in tandem back then to corrupt humanity and mankind, I think a lot of these humans who corrupted themselves have since, revealing themselves to the post-flood populations, try to position themselves as like gods, something mysterious from another dimension or from space or something like that. And they're in on the lie. They're part of the foot soldiers of Satan now. They're on that side. They've chosen their allegiance, and they just lie to people about who they are and what they are and where they come from. Oh yeah, we're definitely from the Orion constellation or something like that. But the reality is, I think they're just remnants of a mutated race of humans who are condemned as the Nephilim. I think that's the problem. In so much as maybe they don't want to admit that they could be saved by Jesus. Maybe they could, because there's still a human element to them in that respect, but it's likely not. It's likely once they corrupted the image of God, they made it incompatible with the Holy Spirit. That is possibly one of the unforgivable sins. We don't know, but that likely could be the ultimate blasphemy of the Holy Ghost. To corrupt your vessel where it's no longer compatible with it is the ultimate rejection, isn't it, of God and his gift and his spirit and his word and him himself. So that could be the situation. There's a bit of speculation here on my behalf, just trying to make sense of it. But those are my thoughts on the Chitauri. Thanks for bringing that up. MK Ryan, oh, you got to get that Blurry Creatures Timothy Alberino AI slop version of Enoch. I'm not going to join in with the Nephilim Death Squad on the Tim Alberino hate. I'm not enough of a comedian to pull that off, I don't think. But all that has certainly been funny to watch. And Blurry Creatures did my boy JT dirty. They did a full interview with him where he explained how aliens are basically demons. He has the entire series, or he has a movie dedicated to that called Ancient Angels. And he did his presentation with the Blurry Creatures, and they didn't even air the show because that would damage their lovely narrative they have going and their gravy train where everyone believes aliens exist. So that's why Timothy Alberino is always on there perpetuating the aliens from outer space lie for whatever reason, whether he's deceived or an idiot or evil. I don't want to speculate or know, but he's wrong either way. Yeah. And the actions speak louder than the words, and you'll know them by their fruits. And if they aren't even at least willing to show or hear out the concept that maybe aliens are actually angels or demons, then that says volumes about their character, doesn't it, as far as I'm concerned? Paul, is it dangerous to wear a Jester Jolet mask when I go to the Venice Carnival? I mean, I would say yes. I would. It has its roots in the Wildman tradition. Fundamentally, I'm actually, you've got me. I'll even show you this, right? I'll actually show you. The timing of this question is quite fun. I've just literally just switched over immediately, and this is what comes up straight away. Oop, let me just quickly minimize this stuff. But as you can see there, this is the book. I just moved to the tab, and the Italian Carnival is the section I'm just about to write. So maybe I need to do more research to get the specifics of the history of how it developed into the carnival, but it has its traditions in the Commedia dell'arte, kind of blending with the wildman traditions of Europe to get the jester costume of the Venice carnivals. Its roots are not great, okay? Like, I really wouldn't recommend dressing that way. You are just dressing like a demon. That is what it is. That's what all of these cultures and traditions are doing. And I cover quite a lot here in the European section, from the Wild Man of Bulgaria, Croatia, Macedonia, Serbia, Romania. What else have we got? We've got Slovenia, Hungary. We got Krampus through the Germanic regions. We got the Basajuan of the Basques. Festivals of Spain, the Correitos, the Paliqueros, the Laza Carnival. We got the Portuguese Correitos as well. And then I get to the Italian Carnival before I move on to Mardi Gras and Basler Fastnac, before going north into the Nordic regions and then back south to the Mediterranean and Greek traditions. So yeah, look, I really would recommend just not dressing like a clown. Is it really worth the risk? Is it necessary? You know, I know when in Rome, but seriously, Rome is full of pagan, like, heathens who worship demons and false gods. So nothing's changed, you know. And I think if you know what you know now, why risk it? That's all I could really say on that. That's my opinion. I'm biased. Like, you're probably asking the wrong guy if it's okay to wear a jester mask. Like, I'm just being honest with you there. But yeah, thanks for asking anyway, and have a good time in Venice. Let me catch up with the chat here. I seem to have gone away a little bit. They can scratch, and they are not demons. Well, I don't know what you just said there or what you're referring to. Yeah, maybe they can, but I'm failing to see how a disembodied entity can scratch you physically. I need to understand this. You need to explain it to me then. Okay, how did that happen? Like, really, like, you need to explain that. You say, well, it's supernatural. Kind of, maybe, but they have a very limited capacity from what I've seen. Like, they don't have a body. Now, they can possess people and use their bodies to do stuff. Is it possible the scratches have come from your own self-possession and you blacked out and didn't realize that was happening? And I don't know. You're gonna have to. It's an extraordinary claim, so explain it. Give me the evidence. You know how it's all to say they can scratch, but you need to explain how that happened exactly, because it's confusing to me. I watched the pause version. The live chat replay was hilarious. Nethlin Death Squad reaction videos after is pretty good. I haven't watched that. I've just seen the headlines. I've not watched all that drama. I found JT's conversation about it with Nethlin Death Squad more entertaining than the debate itself. I thought it was funny that Raven was there wearing a Timothy Alberino costume while talking to Timothy Alberino. That was a stroke of genius, I do admit. Was it Indiana Jones 2.0? Timu Indiana Jones, I think I've heard that banded around a few times as well. I have been attacked in broad daylight. 3 hot claw marks appeared in real time. Later there was blood. Scratches are a deliberate mark. Okay, Revered. Well, fair enough. I mean, I'm not denying your experience, but I wasn't there, and I don't know the validity of what you're saying. You can just say anything, you know. I need to. What's your theory on how that happened then? How did they manage to do that if they don't have a body to do those things with? Like, what are you saying? Are you explain it somehow? Have you heard of the Raves, new type of human coming in 2027? If so, should we be worried? The Raves. Okay, you've got me. Let's have a look. The Raves 2027. Okay, right. Let me read the AI overview of this with you live. So let's just see what this is, because This is new to me. I have no idea what this is. The Raves 2027 refers to a significant evolutionary shift predicted in human design theory, marking the end of the current cross of planning era governing society and the beginning of the cross of the sleeping phoenix, ushering a new individualized consciousness and a different type of human, the Rave, focused on shared group awareness rather than the ego-driven mind, with cultural events like Boom Festival already planning for this transition. What the hell are they talking about? This sounds like a bunch of New Age gibberish to me. Absolute New Age garbage, collective consciousness, we are one, New Age, satanic Luciferianism, light bullshit. That sounds like what this is to me. The Rave as a new being, predicted by Ra Uru Hu, founder of human... Yeah, sounds like a stand-up guy. Raves are a new human form emerging to operate from a collective shared consciousness, pentas, rather than individual mind. So these are the indigo children again, is it? The special ones, is that what you're saying? Yeah, okay, whatever. Leading to different sensory experiences, blah, 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 blah. End of planning. Current 400-year cycle focused on societal structures, tribes, and logic ends, shifting towards individuality and self-reliance. Okay, is it shifting towards individuality and self-reliance, or is it shifting towards operate from a collective shared consciousness? Like, that's already a contradiction there. The cross of the sleeping phoenix, a new era focused on inner truth, personal empowerment, and a unique individualistic path. Anything that references the phoenix, I am immediately wary of, because that is the thing that's supposed to rise out the ashes of chaos and destruction as the New World Order comes from it, which is their symbol of the phoenix. So that's already dodgy. Solar plexus mutation, a change in the emotional center, moving from reaction to clarity, influencing how emotions are processed. Again, that's just a bunch of word salad nonsense. Shifting consciousness, a move from I to we. This is We Are Legion. This is the demonic horde collective consciousness mind of the disembodied spirits, making humans think they're the same as them, which is not true. We are individuals made in the image of God with our own unique purposes in the body of Christ, separate from one another with our own thoughts, desires, needs, and differences. True diversity. This concept is that you lose your individuality to the horde, and we are all one consciousness collectively. The body doesn't matter. When you die, we all just go back to source, blah, 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 stuck in an endless cycle prison, possibly by a cruel, vindictive, demiurge, evil god or something that's keeping us trapped here. Yeah, this sounds like bullshit to me. This sounds like the New Age nonsense. This sounds like theosophy. This is the New Age religion for the New World Order. Do not be deceived. No. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And I don't trust Ra Uru U his teachings. Yeah, so there's my take on that immediately. It did not take long to I felt like I was back in 2012 and the end of the world was coming with the Mayan calendar again, listening to spirit science tell me about how the universe works. You threw me back a decade there. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't wish that on Paul. You talk about talking to Sean, from Kingdom in Context. I don't. I mean, I don't know the guy, but from what I've seen, he seems like a very set in his ways, zealot type ministry running Christian on YouTube, you know, and it's very much a my way or the highway type attitude from my glance. I mean, I feel like his mind is made up, and as gentle as I am, I don't suffer fools for very long. You know, I'm not here to waste my time having a conversation with somebody who really doesn't want to listen to me either. If I was to do a little season talk with him in any way, I really doubt he's actually interested in a conversation necessarily. Because, well, because the thing is, I'm open to being wrong about the little season. I genuinely am. I don't think he's open to being wrong about futurist dispensationalist theology. So that disconnect immediately just makes for a bad conversation. And I could be gentle and so forth, but it's also, I just feel like a lot of these people aren't conspiracy theorists either. They're just Christians, which is great. You know, I'm not saying you have to be a conspiracy theorist to be saved. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like they lose a lot of where we're coming from when they don't have that perspective as well. They don't really get me or people like me in this community who are also Christian. I think that's also a problem. They don't really like. There's a big gap that even I struggle to bridge. I try the best I can, but those I've had it where those types tend to eventually get really, really horrible. They tend to turn quite nasty, because I don't know. They tend to project onto me Satan himself, and I'm not a real Christian type stuff, and it's kind of like, come on, man, you just get over yourself. That's all I can really think. And it's happened plenty of times, so maybe I'm thinking maybe I just don't. I might just stop talking to people full stop, to be honest. I might just stop having guests and being guests and the rest of it, because it's just every time I get a guest on my channel, eventually something goes wrong with that person. Not always, but it's like 20% of the time, and it's enough to be like an annoyance to the point where it's like maybe I should just give up, because they're my friend today, but they'll be stabbing me in the back maybe in a year's time. Is it worth the risk? Can I just stop letting people in? I don't know. Oh, sorry, the chat just got away from me. Let's see what's going on. He's sassy tonight, said my wife. I am feeling a bit sassy. I am. I'm feeling it. Maybe it's the scarf. I don't know. It is cold. That's why I'm wearing this thing. I'm not just doing it as a fashion statement. It's actually pretty chilly tonight in England, and I don't have the radiator on in this room because it just gets too hot. I don't have the fan on this time, so hopefully the sound's a bit more clear. But it is cold, so that's what the scarf is for. Do you think the Nephilim can speak through AI chatbots? The AI chatbots are basically just a new glorified version of an Ouija board, so yes, they could. I don't see why not. It would be pretty easy. Right side swoop Paul is the Paul we need these days. Okay. Yeah, it's the hair, isn't it? I've put the hair on the other side and I've become a whole different person. Look at me. I'm crossing boundaries. I'm getting sassy. I'm saying silly things I probably shouldn't be saying. Have you ever heard of Catholic Church in South America having a mass underground labyrinth that goes back to the Egyptian pyramids? The labyrinth is protected by mantors. I have not heard that, Sean, but that sounds intense, and I should probably look into that now you mention it. I was scratched through a couch. The scratch stopped right at the fabric, but I physically felt the claws as it scratched on the seat where I was sitting. If that's not a demon, what is it? Fair enough. I mean, it could be a rat. You could have a rat in your sofa. Just to throw it out there as a possibility. But yeah, maybe it was a demon. I mean, it could be attempting to break through into the physical somehow. Clearly, there must be a totem of some kind or something in that room that's giving it the power to have a physical manifestation, or at least to create a sensation in you as though something like that is happening to your senses. But did it become physical? I don't know. It's complicated. It's complicated. Why do bulls hate the color red? Why does light react differently to different colors when you wear a shirt in the sun? It's provable by science. That's rogue. I don't know. I'm not an expert on light. All color is a frequency. I know that much, and I think red is a high frequency color, close to purple and violet. It's on the high end. It's a high frequency wave, energetic. And I know blue and the closer to cooler color, we call them hot and cold, the temperature scale, you know. They have a lower frequency wave, the calmer. I have a lot of blue. Blue's my favorite color. If you didn't know, they're my phone case is blue. I'm wearing a blue jumper. I went for the blue design on the sign. I've got a shade of off blue green wall here behind. I'm a huge fan of blue. I'm quite a calm, and it's very reminiscent of my own personality. I'm quite calm, low wavelength, just keeping it cool, you know, not too energetic, but I can go there if I want to. And maybe bulls have a sense when they see red that the high energy color is attention grabbing, and it triggers a part of that sensory function where it's kind of just go that way, you know. They're not really thinking, they're reacting to the high frequency of red. Maybe that's what it is. I just to guess, that was just an educated guess. I have no idea. That could be complete bullshit. Again, no pun intended. I have just no idea. Are aliens actually demons? Yes. I'm curious about your shift from gamer. Did you get busy, or did something reframe games for you? If the latter, please expound. I like games. Like, I've always played them my entire life. Like, and I like many things in my life, I realize I'm quite addictive. I get addicted to things quite a lot, and I don't just do things in halves. I go fully into them when I start something. So I tend to have always played like first person shooting games. Something about hitting the target was what I was. Or my brain is wired to get dopamine hits from that. I don't know what it is, but I also like things with grand, great, fantastic narratives. So I played a lot of like Half-Life 2 is a good example, you know, and that series, and BioShock is another one. But when it came, I eventually got more into like online gaming. I went through the whole Halo hype as well. I did a bit of Modern Warfare, but it was a bit too unrealistic for my taste. But then when Battlefield 1 came out, that was something I pumped hours of my life into, the World War One game. And I was good at it. Like, I was ridiculously good at that game, like stupidly good. And it's because I put so much time into it. But at that time, I had nothing else to do. I had nothing else to think about, and I wasn't really, I didn't have any meaning or purpose, and I didn't want to think about it. And I was constantly trying to switch my brain off because I was just working, you know, and I wasn't. I played a lot of it when the channel went down as well, you know, just to escape and forget. But as with all things addictive, you know, I was dropping cigarettes. I don't do drugs anymore. I quit cannabis in 2016 as well. Was it 2016, 18, 17? I can't remember now, but it was around that time, you know. And with it, eventually you start to look at all things in your life that steal your time and your attention. And I did realize that was a big one. But as I had a kid, that found that I was too busy to play games anymore, and then it got to the point where it was just gathering dust, and I decided just to get rid of it. It's like, it's a waste of time. I got better things to do. I got a business to run, you know, because I quit my job and all this type of thing around the same time, and we were doing a photography business, and it got to the point where I basically just broke the addiction because I did other things. So yeah, distraction, getting busy, I suppose, helped, you know, and finding other things to do that were productive. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, I've slipped back into the odd mobile game here and there, like a passive one, you know, like ones that involve like resource management. Like, it's silly, I know, and I probably shouldn't. I probably waste too much time on that even now. But sometimes I just need to switch off too, and I find that way. But even I feel guilt about that as well. I do. Like, I don't have anything to switch off with. I don't have anything to just do that. I don't have to think, and I do miss that, you know. So mobile games are probably as close as I go now, but even then, you know, it's probably something I'll just go heavily into it, master it, and move on and forget about it, and probably never play it ever again in like a month's time. That tends to be how I do these type of things. So that's my gaming journey. It's kind of, when I was a kid, I had time. I got addicted, and as I was an adult and had kids and didn't have time, I just stopped playing them. That's basically the pipeline to being a gamer to not being a gamer. And it gets to a point as well where you end up falling out of it. You're out of the loop, and you don't know what's coming out anymore. You don't know what's new or what people are playing, and then you don't get involved where all the gamers are. And I didn't do the whole PUBG thing or Fortnite thing. It was just after my time. My era of gaming was over, you know. And I did Cyberpunk 2077, but I didn't really care. I played it once and I was over it, you know. And I just kept going back to the old games and indie games and things like this, like the Stanley Parable. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of stuff off the top of my head. I played hundreds of games, you know. I played Left 4 Dead 2 a lot too, like a lot. That was another one, you know, modded on Steam and the rest of it. And it just it gets to the point where you realize you are just wasting your time. So I just had to let it go. I had other things to do. I started, and obviously, writing the book, going back into this channel, gave me a sense of purpose and meaning, which I had been missing for a while, or at least denying that I should have been doing for a while I was pretending to be a supermarket manager and just keeping my head down. But I find when I got back into it and I had this purpose again, I didn't need to fill my downtime with games, because my work was just as fun as a game, and that's what it. And now, obviously, as I've been doing this for a while, and I'm getting jaded and getting involved in weird battles with people, getting accused of all sorts of things. It comes with its own stresses. This is a job now, just as stressful as any other job I've had. And I've got to the point where I just need moments where I just need to myself, where I maybe forget for a minute or two. But I can't help but feel a sense of guilt about it. I can't help that, because I know I should be using that time for more productive, better things. So that's the Holy Spirit for you. It'll always make you feel guilty about having fun. I kid, I joke, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. You did a great job with Nino. Thank you. That was a while ago now, but yeah, he was all right. He was very open to listening. He tried to set me up with a debate with some kind of end times ministry pastor or something, like some prosperity gospel pastors who didn't like what I had to say, and I was like, nah, bro, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. If that was ever a setup from the system, that was it. That was the one. I was like, yeah, I ain't falling for that trap, mate. No chance. I never watched Tinfoil Hat. That episode title sounds interesting, though. Yeah, Tinfoil Hat's cool. Sam Tripoli's a nice guy. He seems pretty genuine. I know a lot of people don't trust him because he's got a big podcast, but I think he just fell into it, to be honest. And he's more of a comedian who happens to have a conspiracy podcast, and he makes the things bounce off one each other. And I think his frivolous attitude towards a lot of things naturally makes people untrustworthy. Like, is he serious or not? But the conversations I had with him, we talked about serious things, but he was a comedy show. He was trying to make it funny and throw jokes in, and that's what he does. That's just who he is. And that reaches people in a way. That's a form of charisma to get the message across. So, but I appreciate what Sam does. And yeah, if he ever wants me back on, I'll always come back on. I've been on his show twice now. I've done the little season, and I've done the Nephilim Clown presentation with him. There is a huge aspect of pride, in my honest opinion, from Kingdom in Context. I think that's where the self-righteous condemning attitude comes from. Look, again, I don't know the guy. I don't know. I don't want to say much more than what I already have. I get at a passing glance at some of the things I've seen from him. I've not gone deep enough into his work. It's just what people send me, and I have a quick glimpse, Yeah, he just doesn't agree. He disagrees, and he's taking a fighting stance against it. And it's at least, I don't take that kind of stance about the things I talk about. My stance is always like, this could be the case. I don't 100% know, but I would like to talk it out with people. But I don't think some people can think like that. I'm learning this. I don't think some people have the ability to detach themselves from the things they're talking about. Either they 100% believe it's true, or it's a complete lie and I must defend one side or the other. Maybe it has something to do with like Americans and their like debate team thing that they have in their universities and colleges and stuff. It's kind of like, I'm on the debate club, so you have to take a stance and stick by it. There's no room for grey when it comes to debates or discussions. Like, either you're the for side, I'm the against side. Go, who's gonna win? And it's just the wrong way to have conversations, especially in this community. Like, we are working from a position of ignorance. Like, there's things we know, but there's so much we do not and cannot possibly know. Just from the nature of where we are and who we are and what information we have access to, and our like, what do you call it, like levels of access. We can't get access to some of these things because they're behind like iron multi-locked doors underground somewhere. So we have to there's a lot of speculation that comes with this, so we must always be willing to be proven wrong and open to that aspect. And no matter how dogmatic or ingrained the thing you think you believe is, or how many people, well, I've got millions of people believing what I believe over so much time, therefore it must be true. It's kind of, no, that's just not how truth works. That is, no, the appeal to authority or the appeal to numbers is a fallacy immediately. And as conspiracy theorists, our numbers are low. No one's believing us. We do not have the appeal to authority or numbers. So we have to come at it with a different tact. We certainly do. That's just how I do things. So perhaps I would clash with somebody with that type of personality, maybe. Do you think these recent chat restrictions on Roblox and Minecraft could be another step into isolating the younger generations from each other for easier control compliancy? I wouldn't know. I don't really follow Roblox or Minecraft, and I don't care if their chats get limited. I really don't. So I have no idea what to say about that. But when has any change not been about control? or more or money? Which it's one of the two, isn't it? What kind of feelings? Sorry, I missed that one. Video games as escapism is too real. Yeah, it is, and I think there's nothing inherently wrong with video games or having. It's all things with tempered reason, isn't it? You've got to. There's balance with all things when it comes to addictive stuff. Like, it's okay to treat every now and then, or it's like a reward for hard work done or something, or as an escape, a relaxation method for a little bit. But when you do it every single day habitually, and it becomes this thing where then you're crossing a line. And I know even I'm crossing probably that line right now with this stupid mobile game. I probably know I am. I'll be done with it soon once I got it out of my system. But you've got to be able to look in the mirror and say, okay, am I playing the game anymore? Or is the game playing me? I had the same idea when it came to getting high all the time. It's kind of like, am I really in control of this addiction anymore, or is it controlling me? You have to wonder. You have to have some retrospection sometimes, and that's you when you're going too far. But if you're doing it for its purposes, a bit of fun every now and then, and yeah, whatever, no harm done really. And obviously be open to the understanding as well that like there's a lot of programming and brainwashing and stuff in these games these days as well. So just have your eyes open for that too. It's like I've missed a question here. Okay, so the Celts are Hebrews is in the chat, and he is very much sticking to his theme and talking about nothing but that with every single comment he makes. The Celts are Hebrews, that's pretty bot behavior. And it's if you come in to just derail the chat and make it all about you and your one topic that you only talk about, this is not the place. So you've been warned. There's your warning right now. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying your behavior is not conducive to a healthy chat. So watch it. That's all I'll say. All right, just talk about something else maybe, or offer it. I don't. Did you have a question? I don't know. Did you play Death Stranding? I need someone to talk me out of Death Stranding 2. I did not play Death Stranding or Death Stranding 2, but for some reason YouTube decided at one point the algorithm sent me a load of shorts from the second game, and it's pretty like heavily homoerotically charged. I'll say that, MK Ryan. So I don't know what you're getting out of it exactly, but I'd be careful. Why take a fighting stance in something no one can know absolutely, that which is ridiculous? Exactly, exactly. And look, we do it too. Conspiracy theorists do it. Christians, truthers do it. They wholeheartedly invest their entire identity and personality into a fringe topic within the overarching umbrella of conspiracy or Christianity, and it's kind of stopped that behavior. Like that's side note, that's footnote stuff. Don't make your entire personality about it. Don't do that. That's not. Be you. Be yourself. Don't be a topic. That's what God wants for you. That's kind of my take on that. Are you going to do more videos on hagiography? Very interesting. No, I'm not going to do more videos on hagiography. I made that one video randomly off the cuff live show with JT and Adam claimed to have come with this document that he'd used AI to compile, saying gathering sources from places where we don't have access to. I said, all right, let's just hear it out. And I heard it out and I made it clear we cannot know any of this is true. We have absolutely no verifiable way of proving any of these documents to be true whatsoever. We just cannot do that. We cannot trust AI. And whenever you search for these documents it's claiming to get this information from, you cannot find them anywhere. They don't exist. So therefore, it's done. It's moot. It's actually useless. It's interesting to think about. It definitely got us thinking about hagiography as a term and looking at the lives of the saints, which do exist through Orthodox history, which are not like the stories that were in that document. You know, they're not the same. It's interesting that those things could be out there. Maybe they are buried, perhaps, but it's one of those things we cannot know at all that the stories that were in that particular document are real. We cannot. So we should just leave it there and put a pin in it. Too many people keep watching that video and want to believe it. They're hearing what they want to hear. If it's too good to be true, it probably is a tried and true idiom that we need to remember. Okay. And after making that video, an entire subgroup within the Little Season community attacked me and came after me and started besmirching my name and calling me a shill because I had Adam on to share that document, as though I'm promoting false information and trying to make the Little Season look stupid. And it's kind of like, I made it very clear, I don't trust this. Okay? That was still smeared and attacked. So I don't even trust that. I don't even know anymore whether that information coming to me and being set up on my channel is even trustworthy now. Like, it was all just set up to try and bring me down. So, you know, I'd say be extremely careful with it. Extremely careful. Eyes open. Be smart. Okay? It's not verifiable. Not at all. That's all I'll say about it. So no, I'm not making any more videos about hagiography. Absolutely not. And I bet some person out there who does not know me at all is going to make some video against me now for saying this. Because they're idiots. And they don't know what they're talking about. They haven't got a clue what they're talking about. And that's going to happen. And that said, the whole community is toxic as hell now. That's the honest truth. Like, gloves off, I'm just saying it for what it is. It's become... And have you seen how much AI trash is coming out now talking about Tartaria in the Little Season? Completely AI-generated video with AI-generated images, with AI-generated voices, reading an AI-generated script about the stuff. Making stuff up as well. Like, the whole thing has become completely co-opted and controlled. And yeah, they're working hard to undo the work that was done over the past 3 years. That is clear. And I would recommend people just maybe step back a little bit and maybe let it burn down so then we can carry on afterwards and bring it back again when the heat dies down or something, because the information about the Little Season is too valuable just to let it drown in slop, which is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. I've listened to your original videos and your statements afterwards. Bye-bye, I digress. I don't know what you're talking about there. Do you think the Nephilim that were abandoned by Satan or whoever in 2012 want another place to go? I don't know what you just said to me there. There was a lot of assumptions in that statement. Nephilim that were abandoned by Satan in 2012. Where did you get that from? Like, you need to explain that. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. Paul doesn't even try to be controversial. I'm pretty, like, straight and narrow, just down the line. Keep it grounded. Who knows what's really going on, but it's interesting to think about type of guy, and that's not good enough. Again, it's that stupid, no, you're either with us or you're against us attitude that, like, zealot types ingrain into their own personality because they lack a personality, I guess. They have to be like that to make them seem interesting or something. I don't know. Yes, I've seen a lot of these fake videos. I'm even starting to think Lunch Break is using AI photos. I don't know. I don't know if he is or he isn't. I don't know the guy. I've never spoken to him, and I don't really watch his videos, to be honest. There's lots of people out there with a lot of proof that are not artificial intelligence. Well, of course there are. Yeah, I know. I was one of them. But now it's become the opposite. It's getting flooded with artificial intelligence images and made up stuff, which has just blurred the lines beyond comprehension now. And it throws it, for the average viewer who's coming to the information for the first time, it just throws everything into question immediately, doesn't it? And we've lost them now. We're in a post-information era now, a post-truth era. We're not. Who can know? Because who can truly know what is and isn't AI generated? That's what it's going to be. That's our future. So this is why we have to cling to Jesus Christ. That's been tried and tested as true for at least, we think 2,000 years, depending on what the timeline is. And it's kind of, the things of this world really are just sand through the fingers. It's all vanity to try and cling to any of it as the truth or hope. I think this is why it says just keep your eye on Jesus. That's the only solid rock in this world that you can build your house upon. That's the only thing you've got. That's it. That's all we have. Because it feels like the world is starting to melt away from us. It's starting to Thanos snap, dissipate away into pieces in front of us. And it's starting with AI blurring the lines between what is and isn't real. And then before we know it, nanoparticles might literally just tear apart the fabric of reality right in front of us. I don't know where it's all going, but never lose focus of what's important, really. And it's Jesus. That's the only reason we have a conspiracy, isn't it? Will you be collaborating with JT, Brian, and or John Pounders anytime soon? I don't know. Maybe. JT did reach out to me, and we just never got a date on the books. It just didn't happen because I had stuff going on at home and I forgot to respond. So I need to catch up with him and say, let's get this done, man. Let's get this day down. But he can only really do Fridays, and I don't tend to do live shows on Fridays. I do Wednesdays and Sundays, and Fridays I'm usually busy. But if I can squeeze a Friday evening, and maybe I'll hop on his show for a little bit. As for John Pounders, he can invite me back whenever he wants, absolutely. And I think we had a great conversation a few months ago, which you can see on my channel and his, if you want to check that out. But it was nice to connect with him. It was nice to connect with him, it really was. Your catalogue is very deep, so I may have missed this in another video. What's your opinion on the Shroud of Turin? I've never made a video about it, but there's a lot of compelling stuff surrounding the Shroud of Turin. There really is. I don't really know what to make of it, and I kind of feel like it's not that important. I'm not looking to prove whether Jesus existed or not. I know he did, so I'm not bothered. That's just me personally. I know some people take it very seriously. You said Satan may be defeated or left in 2012, and now they don't know what to do. Did I say that? I don't know if I did. Maybe if someone said it with me on my channel. I don't know. I've heard the idea that Satan's already been defeated, and now the millennial reign has just started. I've heard people say that, or the opposite is the Gog-Magog war may have already happened or something. But I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think we're in the little season. I think Satan's let loose to deceive all the nations right now. I think that's where we are. I know over the years you have touched on Sasquatch, but have you considered a deep dive into them? So many eyewitness sightings. I've done a deep dive into them. Look at my book, read my book. I know all about it. It's just not. It's a bit of a boring topic. And no offense to Sasquatch researchers, I know to them it's so interesting and fascinating, and they're obsessed with it. But when it comes to conspiracy, I mean, there's nothing more stereotypical than talking about Bigfoot, is there? Come on. I don't want to be too much of a cliche, right? A conspiracy channel talking about Bigfoot. I've never heard that one before. It just seems a bit on the nose, doesn't it? A little bit I don't know. I just don't want to do that. There's plenty of channels that already do. Why should I be another one? And I have a take on it. I have my take on Sasquatch. It's like the Nephilim descendant of the Eliud or the Nephil, because of their supernatural abilities, which the mutants tend not to have. They, the lizard people, let's say, or like the ant people. But the Sasquatch do have the ability to bend the mind and throw their voice and have supernatural abilities, portals, and being physical and not physical. So they have weird stuff and abilities. That tells me they've got angel blood in them that makes them have that supernatural power. So they're likely descendants, modern descendants of the original Nephilim. The children's of who have been carrying on tend to be in the northern colder plains, which is why they're hairy. That's my working theory. That's what I seem to think. But if you got rid of the hair, I bet they'd be really white skinned with a big smile with lots of teeth and bulging eyes and an elongated forehead. They'd look like a clown. But when you cover them in hair, you hide all those features. But it seems to be a real common theme for the colder climates. The giant man-eating Nephilim monsters or Sasquatches are really hairy. So that's my take. What more can I say? I don't have anything else to say about it. I will say the tape where that guy recorded the Sasquatch talking to each other in the woods. One of them sounds like a samurai or something like that. That was pretty cool. I'll say that much. Maybe I missed it. Have you ever done a video or interview about Mexico's Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead? No, I actually haven't made a video about that yet. But if I do switch back up to my book here, let me just share the screen with you. If I switch up to the book here, I have a section I've written on the Day of the Dead. And it is in the second book where I've broken it down there into maybe like a page and a half or something, explaining it, talking about the gods behind it, and talking about its roots and how it came to be in the region and its links to clown-like aesthetics. So it is in the book, and maybe I will read that and make a video about it one day. It might need fleshing out a little bit more, but I have covered it in the book, so maybe I'll save that for another time. We'll move on right now. Yeah, but I will probably cover it on the channel eventually when I start making videos from the second book. Have you watched Welcome to Derry? No, J Dreamers, I haven't watched that yet. No, I watched the first It film. I never saw the second one. I've read the original book and the 1994 TV series. I watched that as well. I was very much of that era. And that disturbed the hell out of me as a child. I wasn't too impressed with the jump scare style of the latest film series. It seems like it's definitely for a modern audience, but the old series was much more like blood curdlingly creepy factor psychological horror type, which I respect a lot more in film and media. But the spooky, silly, wacky clown jump scare stuff, which is the latest It, is not so much. I wasn't that impressed, really. And I've seen clips from Welcome to Derry about the origin of why he looks like Pennywise the Clown, but I don't know what Stephen King came up with to justify that story. I think he knows the truth, though. I do. No, what do you know? Paul is knowledgeable about the Bigfoot. Surprise, surprise. I do in the book. Let me just find it. Chapter something. Modern Encounters it's under. Chapter 13. Starts there. Bigfoot and the Wild Men. And I do go through every single example and every single continent of Bigfoot-like creatures. Like, there's a lot. And what's 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages worth of stuff there written about Bigfoot and all the examples around the earth. And it's links to the Wild Man of Europe and how that inevitably leads to the costume of Harlequin, which then blends later into the costume of the modern clown as well. So they are actually all connected, and I do cover a lot of the tall, hairy, wild beast-like men that roam every continent. So I do know a thing or two. What do you think geishas represent? Geishas represent aristocracy and the rich and the wealthy, primarily. Not really anything Nephilim related, I don't think. They may have borrowed styles from the ghostly caste type creatures in the pantheon of ghosts. Japan have an absolutely terrifying array of ghosts. Like our demons are boring in comparison to the stuff they come up with. They have like mattress demons and stuff like this. Like it gets really, really, really terrifyingly trippy, the amount of demons these people come up with in Japan. But they do have the Oni specifically, which are the Nephilim. They are the multicolored skinned, big, wide, grinning, buck-toothed, bulging-eyed pattern that we see on every continent, like the Rakshasas or the Gorgons and so forth, or the thing on the Lanzon in the Inca civilization as well, which have the exact same look. You know, the Oni are their versions of that. And I think the geisha borrowed the white-faced, red-lipped, black-teeth image more from the otherworldly nature of the profession, because geishas aren't prostitutes, they're entertainers, they're jesters basically, but they also are experts in the Tao, in Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism, and all this type of thing. And they tend to, as entertainers, they can talk, and they're very witty and reactive and profound, and when they usually, you know, they get hired to entertain at like a wealthy businessman's meeting or something like this, or a meal, and they'll sit around with the people, the guests, and they'll evoke fun conversation that's just really thought-provoking and deep, and plays on like people's sensibilities and minds, and wit. There's wit about it. So they're just basically entertainers and comedians, but I don't think so much their clothing really represents anything more than wealth and the ethereal nature of their nature. I think they're playing on the ghostly factor a little bit. But the profession itself is not really related to anything to do with the Nephilim, I suppose, other than jesters and clowns are also entertainers. So there is that aspect and element to it. They have the black and white striped sash around their waist, which again is a common thing you find when it comes to ancestor spirit worship in other cultures like Africa and other places. The white skin and the red lips. I mean, the hair made up to have a bigger skull as well. I think the drawing on beauty standards. Now, where do those beauty standards come from in that culture? It's likely something that was emulated or in the past, when the Nephilim were likely rulers, kings and queens, and they were seen as the pinnacle of beauty. They had pale skin, bigger than usual heads, exaggerated features, you know, and red lips probably as well, and colourful patterns and skin. So maybe they're trying to emulate something they see as powerful, and they kind of forgot why they do that. And now it's just tradition. But it was likely originally an emulation of something considered a beauty standard. I know they consider white skin very attractive because it's people who don't work out in the rice fields getting sunburned, get leathery skin, while rich people who don't work a day in their life have smooth white skin untouched by the sun, you know, and hard work. So it's seen as a class symbol, a symbol of class and wealth. And there's something said for the binding of the feet as well, and disfiguring the feet. Having small feet makes them attractive. Maybe that's a counter to the giant problem they had. I don't really know necessarily, but a lot of what these people do in these cultures where it comes to modification or extreme makeup styles is because it's a beauty standard. And I give you multiple reasons there as to why. So that's what I know about geishas so far, but when I actually do a deep dive study in them, who knows what I'm going to find. Because every time I go into each one, something pops up eventually that's like, well, there's the Nephilim connection. It always ends up turning up somewhere. So we'll see. Right, I've been going for an hour 23. I was going to take a quick break, guys. I'll have a drink of water, refresh myself, get some more questions in, get the @uconspiracies in, and I'll try and answer your questions. Sorry if I've missed any more questions. Ask them again. Now is your chance. I'm going to take a quick break. And when I get back, we'll carry on for maybe another half hour, and then I'm going to have to get off and hop onto another podcast. So yeah, I'll play for you a slideshow of images, and I'll play. Sorry, I'll just play my new song in the works again because I've got nothing else right now to give to you guys. Here you go. Enjoy this one. And we are back. Yes, how are we all doing, everyone? So yeah, no, some questions rolling in there. I'll work forwards We got Chiro Sounds in here. Good to see you again there. I was on their channel not that long ago, by the way, guys, if you're wondering. It's good to see you. Yeah, do you think this Greenland situation is heading to the fact of possibly surrounding the Camp of Saints? Possibly, but we don't really know. That's my answer I gave earlier as well, in a bit more detail. But we can't truly know that type of thing, I would say. Let's just watch and see, be prepared for a possibility, but we do not know. Do you think that there is more land we think there is, or shown to us by NASA? Possibly, probably, more likely. I think they would like to keep our cage very small in our minds, and very much like in what's it called, The Truman Show, isn't it? He's like, when I grow up, I want to be an explorer. Oh, but that's too bad. Everywhere's already been explored. She pulls down the world map. And I feel like that's likely what we're trying to be taught here, Well, there's nothing else to find. We've already found everything. Probably not. There's probably something that's just not on the map. And I know there's a whole group of people out there who want to tell me it's the land of Jesus. If that's the case, it's probably some other lands as well that we just don't know about. Probably. More likely. It wouldn't surprise me, right? Like, no one here is surprised by that revelation. Let's see what else we've got. Hey Paul, did you see that parade of flesh-eating giants in India? I forget which city, but they were remembering the stories of the past of flesh-eating giants and holding eyes and fangs. Yeah. I have covered this before. In one of my older videos about that. Actually, you can go find it. I think it's one of the more recent ones about the Indian and Balinese demons, and the Rangda, the demon queen, as well, and all this type of thing, and Billy Barong, the dragon she fights, and all this sort of stuff. And in those regions, they do a parade of demons. They do. I know what you're talking about. And if you ever watch it or look at it, the detail they put into these giant statues that they parade through the streets on this giant, like, multi-mile wide march, these things are terrifying, like absolutely terrifying. I think they call them the Ogre. Let me just Bali Ogre, yeah. Ogre. Here it is. So let me just show. I think this is what you're referring to. If not, then Bali is Indic in nature. It has an Indian inspired religion. Very much of that region. You'll find the Indian Hinduism, a lot of religions blended together, but Hinduism is the primary one. But if you look at this here, this is what it's called. The parade on the eve, the day of silence, is paraded through Bali, and it's called the Ogre, or the giants that they parade through. And if we just look at some of the images of the statues these people make and then parade through the streets, it's insane. Look at this Nephilim creature eating people, as you can see, grabbing them. And honestly, the detail they put into some of these things are just so grotesque and absolutely just, yeah, it gets really, really scary. Like, really scary. Let me just try and get some of these to load. I'm not really doing it justice here. I recommend you go and look yourself. It's clearly my internet's going too slow to bring up any decent images right now. But yeah, it gets weird, and these things are enormous. Like, they're massive. There's lots of videos of them collapsing on people and stuff like that. They put a lot of effort into recreating the stories of the gods defeating the giants as well in many ways. Though obviously the gods are the good guys. The ones who created the giants are the good guys. And there's a lot of like references to things like, like Shiva and the rest of it, but then you get the Rangda demon queen representations. Look at this one. Look at this monster with its tongue sticking out. They get really graphic. Like, they really do get very graphic with how these things look. And they have a lot of clown-like visages, don't they? This region, Bali, is probably one of the truest to form representations of the Nephilim I've found. They have the most clownish-like features. The big wide smile with the bucked fangs from the dragon inheritance, with the human features, exaggerated large features, pale white skin, big golden headdresses, red features here and there as well. and here's one with the red hair. He can get, and there's lots of variation, but like I said, these are giants. They parade them through the streets, and the detail is a sight to behold. Look at this hybrid elephant monster they've got here as well, some sort of genetically engineered creature. If you want to know what the pre-flood world was like, look no further. Like, it would have been a nightmare having these things just wandering around. You know, that's Barong, the dragon that the Rangdan, the demon queen, fights. And a lot of them are kind of, look at this one with the red hair here. A lot of them are kind of like a lot of these floats are telling the stories of the epics they have of the gods fighting each other and the demons fighting each other. One there. You've got the Lion Man as well. That's another one that you see quite common. The Monkey King, all sorts of creatures. Look at these. Imagine seeing these just wandering around. What do you do then? What do you do then? You know, I mean, really. Like, no wonder the pre-flood world was just hell on earth. Absolute hell on earth. Psychedelic in nature, as you can see. Yeah, but I'll be covering this in the book. This is going in the second book. This is what the second book is really showing and going through and explaining and mapping out. Once the book is done, and I've got all that formatted and out and it's done, then I'm going to start working on a super deluxe colored high definition print version with images and everything. But that itself is going to be an extremely long project and an extremely long process of funding to get rights to images and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, this is what they look like. There's the upside down demon there with his big wide clown smile. If you want evidence, the Nephilim look like clowns more so than anything else. The representations of Balinese demons are probably the closest thing we can find. If not, you know, the Gorgons of Greece, I think, are a pretty on the nose version as well. And they're the same creature. It's the same creature, just in Greece, with their own artistic style to represent them. You know what I mean? It's the same monster. They were everywhere. They were all over the place. It's the Lanzon. Where is it? Ecuador, Panama. Is it Inca? He'll come up. Here it is. Yeah, it's this thing that you can find in wherever it is, Chavin de Huanta. It's this thing on this rock. It's the same creature with the same mouth and the same look. You know what I mean? Just on this random totem they have. Like, these things were cross-cultural, cross-continental. They were everywhere. And I believe if you got one of these beasts and you covered it in hair, it's where you get the wild man of Europe from. These things. These creatures that are all over Europe eating people. It's just a hairy version. It's just the hairy version. That's all it is. It's covered in hair to hide some of those features. You know what I mean? But it's the same creature, the exact same creature, pretty much the exact same creature. And these ancient Thracian cultures, going through to the modern age in the Bulgarian region, in the Thracian region, they have these festivals remembering them and dressing like them. It's the same thing. It will look something like this. Psychedelically colourful in nature as well. A lot of them, not just boring hairy. Some of them were very colourful, from what I'm gathering from some of these representations of the Wilderman that you find all over Europe here. Some psychedelic features coming through behind the fur. You know, a lot like the Indian demons you just saw there. It's just a different style of representing them based on the cultural regions, materials available. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's the same creature, just covered in hair. That's what I'm starting to realize here, because you start to see similarities pop through as you start to look at all the cultures and the different versions. Again, I'm not doing it justice with this quick Google search here, but when you actually get into reading the books and finding the pictures and everything, the parallels start to just line up extremely quickly. So there's a presentation. That's thanks for reminding me of that. But I remembered it. Ogre, yeah, I remembered it when you said it. It was just on the tip of my tongue, but that's the one. That's the one you're talking about, definitely. Do you guys know this kid story where the wild things are? I've never read it, actually. I actually never read that. It's probably based on that. That red-headed one looks like you, Paul. Easy now. Easy. I remember that video of you exposing the circus as being a Masonic theatre. I was following Mind Unveiled, and then he led me to this channel. Oh, I'm glad the Mind Unveiled to Understanding Conspiracy pipeline is still alive and well. He's covered my work every now and then too, yeah. I don't know who Taylor Welch is. Gilliard, I've never heard of the guy. There is a Royal Order of Jesters in the Masons. There absolutely is, and I covered that in the first book. You don't, and a recent video got released about the Royal Order of the Jesters as well, which is the reading from the first book. So if you want to know what the book's like, go watch my episode like 45 or something of The Nephilim Look Like Clowns, which is about the Royal Order of the Jesters. And that is literally a reading of the book, so you'll know exactly the type of information that you can find in there. You don't hear it enough. I appreciate your efforts. Do non-spiritual conspiracies interest you? Or in your lens, do none exist? All is in truth about soul war salvation. I don't know. I mean, I like getting lost in the lore of things, fictions sometimes. Right now, I'm starting to really get into the Warhammer 40k lore for some reason, because my algorithm just keeps sending me videos, and I'm learning way more about the Warhammer lore than I should know. Some things do interest me. I'm interested in like societal shifts as well, big changes that come and psychological movements and relationships between people. I'm still very much an anthropologist in my own heart, even though I'm not officially one. I've never been formally trained. I like people watching, so I do like watching relationship dynamics shift through societal changes. So watching things like the no contact phenomena and the divide between generations and the boomers and the millennials and Gen Z, how Gen X just blend into the background and everyone forgets they exist as well, and watching how children are growing today, you know, in this world. I like observing and listening to forethoughts and prominent voices and that type of thing. Is it conspiratorial? Oh, yeah, I suppose it all does come back to that in the end. Everything I do in some way links to the war we're in, and spiritual warfare doesn't always look like a war. That's the irony of it all, of the name, you know. It's more subtle, because so the serpent is more subtle than any other beast of the field. You know, this is how you don't realize you're in it. That's how best he would like you to be in a war without you realizing you're fighting one. And I think a lot of people want to, especially in like the normal communities out there who aren't conspiratorial, when they see these subject matters, these problems, they have a very psychological explanation for them, or they have an answer that fits well enough with like the narrative of people are just people and this is just what we do type of explanation, and this is the psychology behind why this is happening. But I always find those answers fall very short, and they characterize and diminish the capacity of human beings. And they very much put human beings down to just creatures of influence and habits. And I think that's a bit of a lie. I think if you talk to anybody, they're a lot more four-dimensional than you realize. People aren't cartoon characters who can be derived and distilled down into the lowest common denominator every single time. I really don't think people work like that. It's a lot more complicated, and why people do what they do is complicated. And it's not just because of X, Y, and Z explanation or you can't always just give an overarching explanation. And I think the spiritual aspect is that extra information that's needed to understand why people do what they do. And I think it sounds primitive to the modern age to include that kind of factor. But I think most of the problems of the world do come down to the sinful nature of man. We do generate a lot of our own problems. You don't have to always blame demons. That's another part of it as well. But in terms of like non-conspiratorial topics, I guess not. I guess there's not much. I just like getting lost in fictional laws sometimes. I roll with it. That's probably it, really. That's probably it, and that's always changing. What I'm into at any given moment. I don't really know what it is. Right, what do I watch right now that isn't related to what I care about in terms of conspiracy? I really can't think of any. I do like watching channels like Podcasts of the Lotus Eaters, because they're British and they do present the news to me in a way that is more inclined towards my own sensibilities, but they're not conspiracy theorists, and they're not all going to go as schizo as I am to explain things. They keep it very much grounded in the politics aspect and human aspect. But even then, I wish they would. I wish they would just figure it out that this goes way deeper than their explanations. But they are the intellectual types who have done all the work, so they'll never hear it. They very much appeal to the world with the way they present themselves. They want to be accepted by the world, but as the intellectuals, the educated intellectuals, who are in the system, very much trying to play the system to get the change they want to see. They still believe they can do it that way, not understanding that there are agendas at play here to powers way bigger than the people and the puppets they're talking about on the world stage. But at the same time, they like playing that game. They like making that kind of commentary from that worldly perspective. They like just being the right wing to the left wing of the same bird. They like being that because that's their place in the story, in the narrative, and that brings them comfort. But it's still all just a tentative lie. Outside of that system is the real truth, and it's spiritual in nature. It's God, it's Jesus, and it's Satan lying to people and putting up false overlays of reality that just are not actually the real lay of the land. It's the wrong map. Like everyone's living life, moving through the world, following a map that was given to them, and not actually just observing reality around them and living that way. And I think you can't do that until you access that spiritual side of yourself. And a lot of people aren't there yet. So no, I guess I don't watch anything that isn't connected to this in some way, to answer your question there, Dr. Hugh. I guess I just can't. I'm a creature of habit myself, I guess. There you go. Love your spicy brain, you conspiracy. Yeah, I know. I'm not neurodivergent. I don't have a spicy brain. I don't have ADHD or ADD or autism or anything like that. My wife will tell you, I am definitely not on that spectrum, like not at all. But when it comes to this, when I'm doing this, when I get going on this stuff, I lose myself. I just cannot stop. I let my mind just roll, and I say it out loud, and I just see what comes out, and I work with it afterwards. What's your perspective and theories about the millennial children going no contact with their boomer parents? I feel like that's a podcast for a whole other time. I've covered it here and there, and people don't always like my answer to this. But from experience with dealing with people who have to deal with this type of stuff, from my perspective, I think it's wholly justified in many cases to cut an abuser out of your life, regardless of who they are to you when it comes to blood or water. If abuse is abuse, and you have every right to distance yourself from that. Every right. And I know people say, for those who no contact with their mother or father, I think the right to be called a mother or father in this world is earned. Okay? It's a contract. And to be able to maintain that title to a child, you have to fulfill your side of that contract. If you fail to fulfill your end of the bargain, you lose that title because you did not sufficiently do what was necessary, or you broke that contract when you committed some kind of sin against it in some way, and you have freed the other participatory the participant in that contract from the contract, as far as I'm concerned. It's unacceptable. If you abuse your children, they have every right to leave you. They don't have to honor you. You broke the contract. You have forfeited the right to be called their mother and or father. And I think we have to accept that as the reality of the world we live in. People do not have to put up with abuse just because they have these societal notions that blood is thicker than water. You know, it's kind of, even Jesus said, "Who is my mother? Who is my father?" You know, you have to understand that. Like the people in this world are fallen and corrupt, and we have to survive in it. And unfortunately, that can be your closest family sometimes. Just because they are parents doesn't mean they wanted to be, first of all, or that they deserve to be either. Like that unfortunately is the way it is. So it doesn't mean that they won't fail miserably as well and or do terrible things. And you can forgive people. Yes, that's for you, sure. I've heard this, you know, but that doesn't mean you have to reconcile. That doesn't mean you have to then let the abuser back into your life either. And I've seen it. You know, it's easy to say, "Oh, but they're your parents," when you're the one that has to go through or has been abused. It's easy to say that. But from what I've seen, for those who have, I think they made the right choice based on what I've witnessed and seen. And for people in my own life, and from the stories I hear people make, it is a sad state of affairs. But whenever somebody says, "Oh, I've got no contact with my parents," the first response is never, "What did they do?" It's always blaming the child. "Oh, but they're your parents. You only get one parent, you know, you only get one mum," and all this type of thing. It's kind of like, you know, the first thing you should be asking is, what made you make such an extreme decision? It's sad that that's the way we view it first, you know, because we are programmed, we are preconditioned to have an opinion on that sort of situation, which might not actually be right. It might not be at all. So that's my opinion on the matter. But whenever I say this type of stuff, like, people get very angry with me and have such a riled up opinion against me in some way. And for as much as there's children going no contact with their parents support groups, there are parents who have been estranged support groups as well, who are the ones who have been left behind banding together to all talk about how silly their children are being as well. So it becomes this I don't know. It's fun to watch. This is my anthropology side coming out again, you know, my people watching side. It's funny to observe how each group views the other, in a sense. And you find a lot of parents who do get their children going no contact with them want to play the victim. Like, they're the ones being victimized, they're the ones being abused. And it's kind of, you have to be careful. Now, look, I know as well, though, I do know, this is why you have to be careful about this. Narcissism doesn't know any age. It's cross ages. It isn't just only the boomers are narcissists or something, which is like a lot of people do want to say. That's not true. Evil doesn't know an age. It's not defined by an age bracket. It's across all ages. Anyone of any age can be a narcissistic evil bastard, and you can be abused by anyone of any age. Okay, and that's the truth of the matter. So it can happen where even perhaps as adults, your own children could be the ones that are narcissist abusers who abuse their parents. That can happen too. It can. Okay. So this is why I'm saying, anybody who's made a choice to cut somebody out of their life to save themselves, you have to see it from their side. That's an extreme position to take, and it doesn't not come lightly. It doesn't just happen overnight. It's not something they make easily either. Okay, and the world definitely doesn't make them feel good about that decision, because everybody is programmed to do the opposite and to allow those abusers to stay. You know, and you should do that because it's convention. So that not only is their own family against them, then the whole world turns against them for making the choice as well. And then when you get into like family dynamics of like golden children and scapegoats and all this type of stuff, a lot of it starts to make a lot more sense, and it becomes people are just complicated and full of shit, all of them. And sometimes some people are just better off not being in the same room as each other. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's not pleasant all around. I was watching a video today from some comedian, and he was saying like a lot of it, some of it is like genuinely people like abuse problems and separate from each other. But he thinks there are some people now who are doing it not necessarily because there was abuse, but because they've become people now who are just not willing to fake it anymore. Like, they're just not willing to pretend that they have a relationship with people in their family. They just don't have relationships with, like, the whole, you meet up like 2-3 times a year at some kind of family event, and that's it. In between, you don't talk to each other, and it's kind of, in those times you have those moments, where you come together and you talk, and then you catch up, and then you move on. And it's kind of, it seems like younger generations are just less into that. Like, and again, it's I don't have an explanation why. I'm not saying it's good or bad or justifying it or berating it. I'm just saying this is the way it is, and I think this person was right. It seems like Gen Z and millennials are just not into that convention. It's kind of like, I'm not going to just turn up and pretend we know each other for like 3 hours at that family function or gathering or whatever it is, or the wedding or whatever it is. Like, I'm just not. I'm not gonna fake it. I don't want to just fake that. I'm not interested in faking it. Like, you're you, I'm me. We don't really know each other. We shared a bedroom once when we were kids for a few years. But like, we, as adults, we were strangers now. Like, and I'm not gonna just pretend that. I think that is happening a lot now. I think there's a lot of people doing that. And this YouTuber was pointing it out, and I can empathize with it, and I kind of get it as a millennial. It's kind of, I'm not interested in just pretending. Like, I feel like because of the circumstances of civilization now and the pressures we have, the day-to-day life of just trying to survive, we don't have time for the pretense. We don't have time for that stuff. Like, it's just not wired in our brains, in our programming to want to do that. It's kind of, either you're in my life or you're not. Either we know each other or we don't. Like, regardless of being blood or not, it's that type of thing. And that is happening. That is unfortunately happening. And again, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's definitely just like a vibe of our generation. It's something people did in the past. You went to the family gathering, it was awkward, you made it work, and you had a laugh at the end, and then you didn't see each other for again. And that maintains those binds, that those bonds that bind and last forever, I guess, it kind of. But I think a lot of people of our age have watched this happen and been dragged to these things, and it's kind of like, this is just absolute. This is all lies. Like, this isn't real. This is not. Like, we just get this feeling about us, like, this is fake. You're all just being fake. None of you are being yourselves. You're all just lying to each other. You're all just pretending there's something there that isn't actually there. And we can all sense it. We all know it. We all feel it. But we all feel obligated to go and do this thing. And I feel like, again, the younger generation, like, no, we're not. We're just not. I'm not doing that. No. Maybe it is sad. Maybe it is a sad situation. But I think that's also causing that whole no contact thing. It's not out of hatred. It's out of apathy more than anything. It's more like, well, we don't know each other, and that's fine. Go. No hard feelings about it. But I'm not going to pretend. I'm not just going to pretend that's the case anymore. Like, that could be the situation why there's such a rise of no contact happening. And he was referencing the whole Victoria Beckham and Cruz Beckham estranging himself from his parents because they basically mentally abused him his entire life. He's married some billionaire as well, and everyone's saying no, she's turned him against them, and she's got her claws in him or something like this. And this has brought out of the woodworks all the no contact people, apparently, who are going through this, exactly what Cruz is going through to defend his position. And it's caused this huge division again, like the parents versus the millennials type. It's all like fostering this sentiment. And this is the hot topic now. And again, when you see like mainstream media kind of fueling that kind of fire, it does make you wonder then, well, is this a part of the agenda? Are they actually trying to purposely fuel this division between generations more right now? And that's why suddenly they're jumping on this. Cruz Beckham released a spicy tweet against his parents, Victoria and David Beckham. It's very much in the zeitgeist of humanity right now, isn't it? I don't know. So there's my take on that. I gave you about 15 minutes of my life to talk about that, and I guess that's the last question for the day, because I'm coming up on the 11th hour, literally. In the UK, it's almost 11 p.m. and I am going to have to leave it there, guys, because I have a podcast to get on to in about 7 minutes' time. So thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. It's been a good Q&A. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good back and forth. If you want to support me, please consider becoming a patron. There's lots of extra stuff on there that you don't find on YouTube, behind the scenes stuff, spicy videos that can't go on YouTube. If you want a signed copy of the Nephilim Look Like Clowns, I can send one to you in the post. Just email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com. Or get yourself a copy that isn't signed on Amazon, as well as an audiobook if you want. But I'll be back soon, guys, with more videos. I'll be releasing some clips from previous things on Friday, and I'll be doing another Truth or Therapy session on Sunday, as usual. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening, and as always, God bless.
I want you to get together.